What is up, my friends? Welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to understand why it is that you guys get so damn emotional that I like AMD more than Nvidia. Bro, it's a personal choice, man. It's all subjective. I like AMD. I think it's freaking awesome. It does everything I need it to do, and it satisfies my overall need in PC gaming. Like I don't understand why that's so hard for you to understand. I don't care about Nvidia's little cheap frills or plastic glassy looking DLSS. I don't care about it. Like, it doesn't look good to me. It never has. And that's okay, man. Like, it's a preference. It's one of those things where when I turn on DLSS or I look at Nvidia visuals, they just don't do it for me. AMD does, dude. It absolutely blows me away. And you guys come here and you say things like, "Oh man, like you're just a shield for it." Of course, man. I like their product. I like the AMD product, so of course I'm gonna make positive content about AMD in an attempt to influence other gamers, other PC guys to get an AMD card. Like, that is the whole point, the whole purpose, to let people know the things that I don't like about Nvidia and why I think it's a scam, or they keep ripping you off. I mean, like, seriously, guys, think about this. You bought a 3070, it had 8 gigs of VRAM. You bought a 3070 Ti, the thing had 8 gigs of VRAM. And then guess what? Once everybody realized they were running out of VRAM, what did Nvidia do? They're like, oh yeah, let's give them 12 gigs of VRAM. So then they bumped them up to 12 gigs of VRAM for the next ones, knowing full well that they're going to struggle with VRAM again. So guess what? The 5070 series is going to have, you guessed it, probably 16 gigs of VRAM, and everybody that bought a 4070 that's struggling with their 12 gigs of VRAM is going to feel like they got to buy that they're gonna have to buy 16 gigabyte 5070. Like, you guys are crazy to think that Nvidia is ever gonna go out of their way to build a product in the mid-range or the low end that's gonna be actually worth your time and effort, that's gonna last you longer than the 2 years that it was designed for. This is madness. I mean, dude, their cards don't even last 2 years now. They lasted one. The 12 gigabyte 4070 was already replaced by a stronger card because Nvidia knows that they ripped you off. They know that they could have put out the real product at the real price, and like, we wouldn't be having this issue. Like, there wouldn't be people out there on Reddit right now freaking out about their 4070 being useless now. It not only did Nvidia pretty much shave off your extra money that you could have got on those original cards, but they put out a newer card to literally to make you FOMO. Like, that sucks. With AMD, at least with their 6000 series GPUs and their 7000 series GPUs, these are pretty solid cards. Like, you get enough VRAM, you get really good raster performance, and you actually do get pretty dang good ray tracing performance, as long as the game is not heavily freaking constrained by Nvidia's ray tracing tech. It's interesting how games like Resident Evil 4 and other games can come out and have solid ray tracing performance and still give you like a beautiful looking game, but then everything that has Nvidia's tentacles into it, like, they suck. They run unoptimized. They're garbage. They're even garbage on an Nvidia GPU. And I thought Nvidia was supposed to be superior, but like, you turn on ray tracing you turn on path tracing with a 4070, dude, you're in the teens. Like, you're literally in the teens. You're like 7 or 8 frames higher than the 7800 XT. Like, both of them are garbage at ray tracing on Nvidia's ray tracing. How is that even a feature that people go out of their way to try to market that card to you? I call it snake oil. I think it's a scam. I think it's a waste of your money. Why am I wrong for telling you, like, look, dude, I've bought both these products with my own money, and I don't think either of them are freaking good at those ray tracing games or path tracing. I think it's absolute garbage. And then like, the comparison when it comes to DLSS. Look, man, I get that the DLSS can make your image quality look, sharper. It gets away all the jaggies. It intensifies the overall, like, clarity of your image and all of that stuff. But dude, it saps out so much of the character of these games that everything just starts to blend together and look the same. I don't care much for that sharp look. I don't. That's one of the bigger reasons that I don't play on 4K as well. I mean, 4K is awesome for like my racing games and stuff, games that actually need to be a little bit sharp, like in the car and the hard plastics and the glass and stuff like that. Those I can play on 4K, but when it comes to like my open world games or any of my other games, I absolutely prefer 1440p with a softer image quality. It looks better. In my eyes, it looks significantly better. I don't want to see like shiny, glossy looking like trees and stuff like that. And that's what DLSS does to me. I know that other people can perceive things differently. Like, I get that, man. This is video games. Graphics have always been a very touchy subject when it comes to video games. Some people don't like jaggies. Some people are okay with it. Like I said in one of those other videos, when I first got Shenmue and I took it home and I was walking down those streets, the image, the beautiful image after coming from like a PlayStation, like an original PlayStation to a Dreamcast, was absolutely mind-blowing. It looked incredible. I didn't care about jaggies. I didn't care about any of that stuff. No, like, nobody cares unless somebody that sits up on their little throne with their 4090 points down and be like, jaggies. Yeah, nobody cares, man. Like, this is the mid-range PC market. You guys tell me that, like, oh, you're not one of us because blah, blah, blah. No, I am. I am. I happen to like the mid-range GPU. I think it's affordable. It's easier for me to obtain every generation if I want to upgrade. It makes more of a it makes more sense cost-wise to be able to get mid-range, because it's going to grow. I mean, like, think about it, dude. The 5070 is going to be stronger than the 4090 in just one more year. So, yeah, it makes sense to stay in a mid-range and just keep buying those every generation instead of just going out and throwing away $2,000 on the top-end card when at the end of the day, you're just throwing money away, because then you're going to be like, oh, man, I need a 5090 now. Or the 3090 bros were like, oh, my gosh, I need a 4090 now, because dude, all of those cheap tricks with ray tracing just aren't good enough to a point where once they're like 4090 level or better at like your mid-range, then I would say, okay, maybe we should start taking ray tracing a little bit more seriously now. But in my experience with buying mid-range cards, yeah, dude, it's just not there yet. So forgive me if I don't care about a feature that I can't actually use unless I pay out the nose for the hardware to do that. And I'm not doing that. I am not spending $2,000 to play 4 ray tracing games. Like, that's dumb. That to me is such an egregious waste of money that I don't know what to tell you. Now, if you guys think that my opinions are wrong on the PC, they're my opinions. They're how I perceive things. As a paying customer, that's how I perceive things. There's a lot of things about PC that people way overhype, that once you actually get into it and you're forced to accept these real facts and these real truths, you kind of I think there's two kind of people in this situation, or maybe 3. One of them is just gonna lose their backbone and just accept it how it is, because that's what you've always done, is you're submissive, so you accept it and be like, yeah, I just needed to learn a little bit, and the experts on YouTube help me get there, always telling me that Nvidia is better and blah blah blah. Dude, that's simp behavior, bro. Like, you're kind of a simp if that's where you want to be, and you want to just run around with the marketing. These guys get free GPUs, dude. They're not your friends. They're not here to make things better for you. They're here to make money, bro. That's what they do. That's how they make their money. And Nvidia seeds them with product, so they make content, and they're like, oh yeah, happy about it. And yes, I get it. Every one of them are like, oh man, the prices. Nvidia don't care about that, because they know these simps out there are gonna pay that. They're gonna be like, yeah, dude, I need the shiny new graphics. I used to be like that too, man. I used to love my shiny new everything, blah, blah, blah. But I'm smarter now. I'm wiser. I'm a little bit more cynical after being like ripped off all the time and overhyped and let down, overhyped and let down. There's only so many times that you can do that in your life before you finally wake up and you're like, dude, I'm sick and tired of this crap. I just want the platform to do what it says it's going to do. I mean, even with the console generation, bro, we were told 4K 60. A lot of us believe that. And it was going pretty decent at first, and now we're starting to see it just like, we're 864p. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I'm sick of that. So that's the first person. That first person is just like, okay, I accept it, and they submit. Then you have the other person that just says, oh, you know what, man, this isn't for me, and they back away. They get right out of the PC space because they just feel like it's too much for them. And then you got me, people like me that are calling out the crap whenever we see it. We're going to call it out, and we're going to tell you, look, man, AMD offers a solid product right next to the Nvidia product. You might give or take a little bit of performance either way, but you're probably going to be better off with the other platform that everybody says that's trash, because guess what? The other platform is just as good, and it offers a lot more in way of longevity and other things. So you have that other person that's me, the person on the other side that goes against the grain, that calls this stuff out because they don't care. If like, I don't care about the popularity contest. I don't. I care about my pocketbook. I care about your pocketbook and helping you save a little bit of money and enjoy gaming without having to feel like you're on a hamster wheel chasing the next greatest thing. That's my goal on this channel, is to try to help you. I don't think Nvidia is the best product. I don't. I feel like it is superficial, cheap trash that they keep suckering people in with the marketing and the fancy new features that let's face it, barely work. I mean, if you really look at it, if you go across all of these ray tracing cards from the 20 series up to now, only the 4090 is really decent at doing that. Actually, I can't even say that. Because I've never tried one, so I don't know. I mean, as far as I know, doesn't like Cyberpunk only get like 20 something frames a second with RT overdrive on? I don't know. I don't have one. I'm pretty sure that it's just as weak, and you're still going to be at a disadvantage, and you're going to feel like you need to upgrade. And that's the thing. They should have never brought out ray tracing until they actually had hardware that could run it decently at least the mid range. Now the entry line of PCs, whatever, that's its own little thing. But mid range, when you're paying $500-600 for a GPU, you should 100% be able to use those features and have an enjoyable experience. And I'm not talking about half resolution at 30 frames per second. I'm talking about you should be able to get on there and play at least 60 frames per second. Until that happens in the mid range, I don't think ray tracing is a viable option. And using DLSS to make it so you can use it, that is the biggest simp thing I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, well, we got DLSS so we can use it. I'm like, dude, and then you guys are going to really come to my channel and try to criticize FSR and all this other stuff when I show people that, look, man, you can literally put the game on 4K on The Witcher, turn on ultra performance, play it with ray tracing, and it actually still looks okay. You guys crack me up, man. Like, you guys literally have to use DLSS to play your games. Have to. Whereas like when AMD is like, okay, like, yeah, they can do it. You got to understand, these AMD cards pretty much have last gen Nvidia ray tracing performance, like they do. And you can use that. You can utilize that. You can play around with that, so you can get a taste of it and see. But I don't think either platform is really in a position to really be toting ray tracing as a feature. It should be an experimental feature. It's not a feature. If you can barely use it, it's not a feature. So, all right, my friends, all you little wisdom people that keep telling me that, like, yeah, man, you, come on, man. I know you love your little brand. I get it, but I'm calling it out. Like I call it, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke in the way they treat their customers over there on Nvidia by not even giving you like frame generation. Really, you're trying to tell me that AMD can do it and give it to Nvidia people, but Nvidia and all their infinite wisdom and money and resources, they can't seem to figure out how to make it so that their 30 series users can use that. Okay, All right, but it doesn't have enough tensor cores, or it doesn't have enough ray accelerators. Whatever, dude. If a 4060 can run freaking frame generation, I'm pretty sure the 3080 could have ran it better. So if you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching my rant. Have fun as usual.